Welcome to the Bold Money Revolution podcast. This is your source for straight talking, no fluff, business and high performance conversations that add real depth and value to the way bold leaders live, work, and thrive. I'm your host, Tara Newman. I'm here to show you how to optimize your performance as a leader so that you can grow a business that is profit-rich, efficient, and allows you to generate real, tangible wealth for yourself and others. We are here to help you lead with your values, to perform without overwhelm and burnout, and to do your most important work in the world. Hey, bold leaders. Welcome to the Bold Money Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Tara Newman, and today we are talking about why you don't need to be worthy to charge more. And I know that this is going to rustle some feathers, rub some people the wrong way, be a little uncomfortable, challenge your cognitive dissonance, but that's okay. Hang with me. I'm doing math because I believe in doing math before we look at your mindset. And I'm not discounting mindset. I think mindset is incredibly important. You cannot accuse me, someone with a graduate degree in psychology and a lot of coach training under her belt, and someone who has been a coach for 20 plus years, that I don't care about mindset or I don't understand mindset. I do. And that is exactly why we do math first. Because if I give you concrete black and white examples, if we do a little bit of math, does it change the way you see something? That is the experiment that I operate from, or the principle that I operate from when I look at mindset with my clients. I'll tell you another reason why I do math before mindset, because I don't want you to believe what I believe. I want you to believe your own things. And even in our limiting beliefs serve a purpose in the time that we believe them. I think that we have these limiting beliefs. I hate the word limiting beliefs, but I think that we have them for reasons, for good reasons. I think they protect us in that moment. And at any point we can choose to believe something different, but I want you to make that choice. I am not here to program you to think a specific way, because that would be culty as fuck. And that is what we are seeing a lot of times in online business circles, in online programs, on social media. And I am very aware of that. And so I like to have this conversation from a different perspective. You get to believe whatever you want. You get to hold on to whatever beliefs you want to hold on to. You get to discard whatever beliefs you want to discard. You don't have to believe everything that I believe in order to be here. So let's do some math before we talk about our mindset. And we're talking about pricing today. And pricing is inherently emotional. I don't want to take that away from you. It is. But again, let's see if we can discharge some of that emotion in the math, in how we think about this, in having a process for how we look at our pricing. And I'm coming from the point that you are already worthy. If you want to fight for your unworthiness, that's on you. That's not what I believe. All right? So now that we are on the same page, I want to give you 4 reasons why you don't need to be worthy to charge more, and then I'm going to do a math lesson. So you are not your service. This gets really mixed up for folks when they're solopreneurs, when they're coaches. I see this more with coaches than anything else. Personal brands, I hate personal branding for this very reason. You are not your service. You have an identity. Your business is an entity. There is a difference between your identity and your entity. And the more that you can pull that apart and separate that, the better. And what that might look like for you, and I'm just giving this example because this is what I've done, is I've started to think about my service as a product. This is a product that I'm delivering, not a service. You are not buying me. You are buying the Bold Profit Academy. You are not buying me. You are buying an intensive with me, right? I am not for sale. I am not to be bought. You can't own me, despite what some people want to believe, despite how some people might show up. This is not happening, okay? That is not true. You are buying a service that is delivered by me. And in that case, I like to think of it as a product. We need to separate the identity from the entity of the business. I always say this all the time. People say to me, oh, I suck at goal setting. I don't like goal setting. Goal setting makes me feel whatever. I've got trauma. I've got this. I've got that. That's great. You, Jane, don't need to have goals. You can go through life structureless, goalless, however you want to do it. But your business needs to have goals. You and your business are not the same. There is a difference. Your business needs systems and structure and process and goals. Okay? You don't have to have any of those things. So that's kind of another example of how we need to be separating identity and entity. Here's another one for you. You need to charge for the result you help people achieve. You need to charge for the result you help people achieve. You're not charging for you. You are not for sale. Okay? You can be lots of different things and still get someone a result. You cannot like the way you look. You could be imperfect. You could be going through a divorce. You can be having trouble with your children. You can be going through something really hard in your life and still be able to get people results. You don't have to be perfect to do your craft. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be able to be an expert in the area that you are an expert in. You don't even need to know all the things. You just need to know your thing, your specialty, right? You need to charge an amount that allows you to profit and run your business. This is where everybody falls down. And I'm going to give an example with numbers at the end. But this is where your likely all the bottleneck is coming from. You need to charge an amount that allows you to profit and run your business. It costs money to run a business. I know that there are ads running. I've seen them that say, start your business with no money. That's a lie. It doesn't actually happen that way. And as a matter of fact, the earlier on in your business you are, the more money you are going to spend in your business. And that is another podcast episode. Okay? Things cost money. Can we put that on a t-shirt? Things cost money? Because that seems to be what people say to me after they go through the Bold Profit Academy or they do the revenue goal calculator. They're like, oh, Tara, things cost money. Yes, they do. Things cost money. You need to charge an amount that accurately reflects your skills, ability, and time. And I know there's people, but like $1 per hour, I literally don't care. You can charge $1 per hour. As a matter of fact, we are going to talk about one of my services that is a 1-hour session with me. Okay? It just needs to be a really good dollar amount that you are charging to work with you. So let's get on to our math example. Based on something that I needed to clean up and clarify for myself. So from time to time, people are like, can I book in a 1-hour session with you? And I say, sure, no problem. And I charge $1,000 for that. And I'm noticing that something's not right. Something's not right in my numbers. Something's not right on my calendar, on my schedule. Something's not right with my energy. These 1-hour sessions just aren't feeling right. And that was enough for me to kind of do a thought exercise that I'm going to share with you, because it was like, oh, this explains so much. So first, let me share with you what some of the things are that I have accomplished in an hour of time with someone who has hired me. So I had somebody come to me, and in an hour, we reviewed their P&L. We realized that they were $350,000 in the negative, and they needed to go find $350,000 in cash flow. And I said, it's going to come from here, here, and here. Those are the places where you're going to pull in this $350,000. And yep, that's going to suck because that's a hard conversation with this person, and this person. And here's the conversation you're going to have. Script it out, write it out. How does that feel? Okay, I'm a little nervous. Okay, let's talk about it. We talk it through. And they contacted me 90 days later, and they said, okay, 90 days ago, I had like $30,000 in a savings account, and I was really freaking out because I was losing $350,000. I had $30,000 in a savings account. That wasn't going to be enough to pay taxes on the business. And I don't know, it's really possible that I would have went out of business. I could have gone bankrupt. And I just want you to know that right now, based on the conversation we had and the profit first conversation, because we talked about profit first when I was looking at the P&L, because it's like, this is where you're going to put the money. I now have, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 4 times the amount of money saved in 3 months. All right. Even if it was double the amount of money saved, even if they went from 30,000 saved to 60,000 saved, and they had those 3 conversations and they found the $350,000, that's a really big ROI because I was charging $1,000 for a 1-hour session with me. Now, there was another situation. This other situation, someone booked a call with me and it was kind of an emergency. They had just gotten done blowing through all of their money, personal, business. They were enrolled in a very high ticket mastermind, like $85,000 a year for the mastermind. And they realized that they were they were drinking the Kool-Aid, that they were participating in something really culty. And what like really clued them in was when they didn't have the money for the mastermind, the coach running the mastermind suggested that they talk to a third-party lender and get an unsecured loan to bridge the gap between payment and until they could manifest the money back. Meanwhile, they have no money coming in and they were likely going to have to go back and get a job. And I spent an hour on a call with them. And when I followed up, they said that the information that I helped them with, I gave them a specific action to take to start generating leads. It was an email and I structured it for them. And they said, from the email I sent last week, my open rate was 58.67%. I had 35 responses, which was 6.4% response rate, with 9 yeses and 5 who actually scheduled a call. 3 calls are scheduled for this Friday, right? So I found them 9 hot leads and 5 had already scheduled calls. In an hour I did this, right? I'm only charging $1,000 for this call. And another example of this for me is I took somebody through some of the revenue acceleration content that we do in the Bold Profit Academy. And again, clear actions, clear email templates, clear discussion as to why. And the business owner went and from this very simple sales plan generated more than $60,000 in revenue. Some exclusions may apply, right? For this person, I want to say some exclusions may apply. That was definitely how many people they had on their email list, what they were charging. There were definitely factors involved there. But if I was charging $1,000, that's not enough at all. So even if I can help you draw a single picture to clarify things in your business and it changes the entire trajectory of your business for years to come, I'm not really pricing that properly, right? You can see that. Now, I've currently raised it to $1,500. It's going to be going up from here. But I want to talk about where that $1,500 is going, because some of you might be thinking to yourself, wow, you got a lot of balls, got a lot of cojones to be charging that kind of money for an hour. Even though I just shared with you the outcomes that I know people can get when they're on a call with me. And I know that some of you are thinking that I'm going to take that $1,500 and go and buy a Chanel bag with it or something like that. If you actually know me, you know I'm not buying a Chanel bag. You know I'm buying ETFs or dividends for my investment portfolio. But you're thinking I'm taking that $1,500 and I'm putting it in my pocket. Maybe you charge $500. Maybe you charge $1,000. And you feel like that is a lot of money to just be taking and putting in your pocket. But also at the same time, you're like, where the heck is that money? Because it's not actually going in my pocket, Tara. Well, I'm going to tell you where it's actually going. So when you pay me $1,500, I'm going to give you my profit first numbers. $150 of $1,500, 10%, is going to go into my profit account to create a cash cushion for my business so that I never have to sell from a place of feast and famine, scarcity, or a cash grab. I don't have to do any of those things because I have cash in my business in the event that things slow down. $225 or 15% is going to pay my taxes because that is the perk of owning a business, is you get to pay your taxes. $600 is going to go to my CEO pay. That is actually what I'm going to benefit from and take home from that session. And then $525 is going to go into my operating expenses. I think the CEO pay is like 40% and the OpEx is like 30%. But here's the thing. When you come and work with me in even just an hour session, you're going to get an intake form from me. And I'm going to review that intake form probably about a half hour before the call. I might be pulling together other resources that I'm going to use on the call, and I might be pulling together resources that I'm going to share with you to take away from the call and go and use. And then we're going to have the 60-minute call, and then after the call, I don't just shut my brain off. I don't know about you, but my brain just doesn't shut off. I'm probably going to be thinking about the person who I've had the call with as I create my follow-up notes, maybe if I shower or I go for a walk. And it's likely that I'm going to reach back out to the person and say, hey, listen, I had more time to think about this. And I want to add this point. I want to add this reflection. I want to add this resource to what we talked about. So now we're looking at 2 hours of my time. So you're not paying me $1,500 an hour. I'm taking home $300 per hour because that is $600 in CEO pay over 2 hours of time gives me $300 an hour, right? So I've got money going to profit for my cash cushion. I've got money going to the tax man. I've got my CEO pay, and I've got my OpEx. And my OpEx is paying for the Zoom call that we're going to be on. It's paying the fees that are coming out of Stripe when you pay me. It's paying for my team to make sure that everything's on my calendar properly and I get to the call and that you get a reminder. It's paying for my Calendly. It's paying for all the expenses in my business so that I can show up clear-headed and serve. So now that I do the math here, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. What questions does this bring up? What does this make you curious about? What insight does this give you? And I want you very seriously to either respond in email to me, Tara at theboldleadership.revolution.com, or in my DMs on Instagram, I'm at the Tara Newman. You can leave me a voice message. You can leave me a text message. I want to know if doing the math changes your perspective at all on your pricing and why I understand worthiness is a factor. It's not the most important thing. That you are worthy and your worthiness and whether or not you're worthy and deserving and all of those things really don't come into play because you simply need to keep your business going. You simply need to be able to pay your operating expenses. You need to be able to pay the taxes. You need to be able to put some money aside so that you're not going into a place of feast or famine. That this is just fact and how businesses run. It's not you trying to abscond with oodles of money. You're not a bad person. You're not greedy. You're not wasteful. You're not irresponsible. You're not shisty or scammy. You're none of those things. You're running a responsible business. If you found this podcast valuable, help us develop more bold leaders in the world by sharing this episode with your friends, colleagues, and other bold leaders. Also, if you haven't done so already, please leave a review. I consider reviews like podcast currency, and it's the one thing you can do to help us out here at the Bold Leadership Revolution HQ. We would be so grateful for it. Special thanks goes to Stacey Harris from Uncommonly More, who is the producer and editor of this podcast. Go check them out for all your digital marketing and content creation needs. Be sure to tune into the next episode to help you embrace your ambition and leave the grind behind.